Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the weekly video series trying to get you the most MGP humanly possible inside the Mandeville Gold Saucer when judging begins on a Friday. This is a special week for week 227 as it's currently Make It Rain, so all of the actual bonuses apply this week specifically. So if you do have a free company with the ability to actually put Jackpot 2 on, which is what I'm about to do, then you will benefit even more. These things stack, as well as the increase from Make It Rain as well. So bear that in mind. So like I say, this is week 227, and this week the theme is Animalistic Armchair-wear. The clues include Call of the Wild for your helm, Bookworm for your chest, Check and Check for your legs, and Rest and Relaxation for your feet. In this video we'll have a 100 score, an 80 with dies, and the easiest 80 possible. Without further ado, let's get to that 100. Okay, for this week's 100, not a terribly bad amount of items to actually acquire. There's some good options here. So starting with our helm, I chose the bunny crown. The main reason I chose this one over the others that I'll list in a second is because it's available to everyone, both genders in the game, level 1 and above, all classes. Really nice item. The downside is that it costs 20,000 MGP from the Gold Saucer, so you might be turned off about that. Alternatives do include, however, the Tamamo headband, which is originally available from the Sasho Seki fragments from the Fox Fate in Stormblood, or alternatively the faux hollow system with faux leaves of 250 of those. Other alternatives include the Bunny Chief crown as well, which is 24,000 MGP, as well as the Keiichi ears as well, which are the cat ears that you get from buying the Keiichi plushie, and also the Topaz and Emerald Carbuncle ears from that particular Mog Station set will also work for gold rating. So obviously the go-to here is the Bunny Crown because it's available to the most people, but if you have any of those other options, then obviously you'll save your MGP that way. For the chess piece then, this can be any Sharlayan chess piece from the Great Google Library. So the normal version of Great Google Library, you can do that unrestricted and unsynced. Go in there and just melt all of the bosses. The chest before the last boss, including the last boss itself, has a chance to drop a chess piece. Do it until you find one that is of a role that you can choose. Unfortunately, there are no other alternatives to this slot than any of those chess pieces, so obviously find whichever one with your RNG that fits the role that you have access to for the 100. For the legs then, I went with the Wind Silk bottoms. The main reason for this, once again, is because of availability to all classes in a game level 1 and above on both genders. This is something that's a fairly basic Weaver recipe, so don't pay too much on the market board for this. Alternatives do include previous Fashion Report items for this slot, which is the Ruby Cotton bottoms, which you can get from Muto in Kagane, which is actually a vendor purchased item, but it is tradecraft gear. And alternatively to that is the Ghost Bark bottoms of casting, which comes from the Siren Song Sea, one of the dungeons added once again in Stormblood, if you wanted to do that unsynchronized and you had a caster. For the boots then, I went for the Meandering Mog Slippers. These originally come from the Moogle Beast Tribe in Heavensward. You can get them for 100,000 gil. Probably not the best option, but I had them lying around, so I went for them. They're equipable by all classes level 1 and above in the game. But the best alternative is probably the Crescent Moon Slippers, which is a fairly basic Weaver recipe, but I can imagine them being quite expensive on the market board when people realize that Fashion Report is indeed obviously going to be in use because of the Make It Rain campaign. But there are no other alternatives than those two that I can find at least, so it is what it is. Anyway, so that's the 100. Not terribly bad, but we don't need 100 score to get the maximum MGP anyway. We only need to get a score of 80 or more. So let's move on to the 80 with dies. For the die options then, as you can see, we're starting with any weapon in the game Lotus Pink, any helm in the game Pearl White, any chest in the game Mesa Red, any hands in the game slate grey, any legs in the game Roland Berry red, and any feet slot in the game pearl white as well. So make sure you have something equipped in every single slot. So as you can see, I've got something in all of my accessories on all of the slots there, and all that left side died that way, and you will get an 80 score guaranteed with those dies. The dies themselves are fairly expensive in places, especially the pearl white, unless you have a spare 1000 Sky Builder scripts from the Foundation of Ishgard rebuilding, but not everybody will have that. Anyway, we can do much better than this, so let's move on to the easiest possible 80 of the week. Okay, so this week's easy 80, as you can see, the bunny crown is being used here. Simply, there's no way of avoiding the fact that this is one of the most accessible things to new players. You know, the cost of 20,000 MGP and the offset of, you know, getting way more than that because of Make It Rain, as well as any other modifications that you might have for company buffs or personal buffs, is totally worth it. Honestly, the return is definitely worth the investment. So if you don't have any other options, definitely go for the bunny crown for this. It is one of the easiest pieces to get a hold of. And then simply with that helm, I've dyed any gloves in the game slate grey dye, and any legs in the game Roland Berry red dye. With those two dyes and the actual headpiece, you are guaranteed to get an 80 score. So bear that in mind. Yeah, you should have no problems at all. Obviously, there are other ways of getting an 80 this week, which include things such as mixing and matching things from the 80 with dies, and of course the 100. So let me know your own solutions below if you have any. Thank you so much to everybody who theorizes this each and every week. There will be a link to that Reddit thread if you wish to go and give that some upvotes. I'm sure they will appreciate that. Much love, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all next time.